What's up, guys? Let's not waste any time here at all. Sony just finished their 2015 Paris Games Week press conference, and as always, we're going to be doing an entire recap of the event and impressions. It was a real long show, so let's get right into it. Sony's Jim Ryan takes the stage to talk a little bit about the Black Ops 3, the new Zombies trailer, shows off a custom PS4 bundle. Star Wars Battlefront trailer is up next, also a Star Wars bundle there. We kind of saw that Darth Vader PS4 already. Street Fighter V trailer for the character Dolson. 6 new characters are coming the first year after release, and coming February 16th, 2016 for the US and Europe. Yoshinori Ono also made it very clear that Harada is also a playable character in Street Fighter V, which moving forward, Tekken 7 is coming to PlayStation 4, no surprise there, with exclusive content, no other information there. Battleborn, the beta is first on PlayStation 4, very cool stuff. Boundless, console exclusive on PlayStation 4. This game also looks very, very cool. Vector, first on PlayStation 4, rhythm music game with a VC. No Man's Sky's up next, console exclusive, we all know that. June 2016, we finally have a firm date for No Man's Sky, so that is awesome. That game looks so gorgeous, and we're always so excited to see more of that game. Michael Denny's up next, he takes the stage. A PS4 exclusive by Housemarque, developer Housemarque, Matterfall. This also looks pretty cool. We didn't see a whole lot much there, but certainly this game is going to be interesting. Housemarque, we all know, developer Resogun, Super Stardust. Ratchet & Clank PlayStation 4 trailer, getting us ready and more excited for that. Great to see more Ratchet & Clank. Herman Hulst takes the stage. Horizon Zero Dawn demo. Oh my god, this was one of the coolest things they had at the conference. I mean, Horizon is looking absolutely fantastic. You've got to be crazy to not see how good that game looks. Bloodborne: The Old Hunters, November 24th. We've got a date for that. Drive Club Bikes, and it's available right now, actually. So I've always appreciated stuff like that. When whether it's a DLC or a new game or something, it's always cool to have a conference announcement, a conference announcement where it's like, hey, and it's ready right now. So that's out. Gravity Rush 2 gameplay. If you want some more Gravity Rush, this certainly looks like that's what you're going to be getting. Christophe Ballistra from Naughty Dog takes the stage, shows off some Uncharted 4 multiplayer. So it's cool that we're finally seeing more of that, especially since, as we all know, the beta is coming up December 3rd to the 14th, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. Actually, they also made the announcement how the supernatural elements of Uncharted will be going into the multiplayer as well. Next up, Alex Evans from Media Molecule comes up with Dreams, and we get a live demo, and the beta is going to be for 2016 for that game. I'll tell you, that game still is piquing my interest for sure. The demo was certainly like a little weird, a little bizarre. A lot of people watch it not knowing what to think of it, but that's what I like about it. And the thing is, because it's a creation game, and we all know how Media Molecule is, that game is going to have many different layers, and there's so much more we're not seeing from that game yet. Shuhei Yoshida is up next, talks PlayStation VR. Good that we're seeing this. So we got some Riggs gameplay, which was overly exaggerated with like an announcer trying to make it all cool and everything, but honestly, it did look pretty cool, so I would certainly give it a try. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood is announced. We just talked about that a few weeks ago on Let's Talk PlayStation, so it was pretty clear that was a real thing, even though Supermassive Games was trying to deny it. Crytek announces Robinson: The Journey for PlayStation VR, first on PlayStation 4. This actually looks really interesting. Of course, it's not like real gameplay or anything, but the fact that it's Crytek, the fact that it's dinosaurs, and the fact that it's virtual reality, sign me up. Next up is Battlezone, first to PlayStation VR. Moving on, Sony Pictures, The Walk, which is full on exactly what you think it is. It's what's interesting is that it's a collaborative with Sony Pictures, and this is one of those many things that demonstrates that virtual reality is not simply for games; it's for a lot of different experiences. It's one of those things where you always hear people talk about how virtual reality could be a thing where you can try on the headset and look at like a real hotel room or something that you're thinking about renting for a few days whenever you want a vacation or something. So it's a good real world example of virtual reality outside of games, but I would certainly try this, that's for sure. PlayStation VR Sizzle Reel, showing us all sorts of games that we can get a hold of once PSVR is in our hands. And then Tekken 7 is announced for PlayStation VR, which is also pretty cool. Like, definitely an out-of-nowhere kind of announcement, but it's a fighting game, so that'd be interesting. It's PS4 exclusive. We finally got Polyphony Digital showing off some Gran Turismo, and it's Gran Turismo Sport. The beta arrives early next year, and yes, it is going to be working with PlayStation VR. Not GT7, so we're not entirely sure if this is like a full-on release or a PSN game. I believe it's going to be like a smaller scale game before a formal release of GT7, but we're still waiting on more details as I record this right now. Next up, they showed Wild for PlayStation 4, apparently PS4 exclusive, and it looks very cool. It seems like there's a lot of games nowadays where it's like less of... It's more of this nature thing, right? There's so many games now where it's like it's this wide open environment, and you're in a forest or communicating with nature or something like that, right? Which maybe you're getting sick of, but I certainly like the change of pace for a lot of games nowadays and how colorful these games tend to be, and it looks pretty cool. The biggest bomb drop of this whole conference, which nobody saw it coming at all. We all wanted Quantic Dream to be there, and they were there to show off their next game, and it's actually called Detroit Become Human. And this is actually a demo that became a real thing. So a few years ago, Sony did this demo on PlayStation 3 called Kara, which was about, a robot lady that's being like manufactured, and just as she's about to be like dismantled basically because she's having too many like unrealistic or realistic human feelings, she's about to get dismantled, and then she begs for being to stay alive, and the guy's like, okay, you can go away. And then so that was a long time ago. That tech demo got millions of views on YouTube and everything, and we never saw anything else from it again. But a lot of people have always said, like, oh, that'd be great to have a full game, and now it actually is becoming a full game. Which this will be the second time Quantic Dream has made a demo that they didn't intend to make a full game to make into a full game. So now I'm jokingly telling you guys that Wizard PS4 demo where it's that wizard acting with that little green goblin dude, that's probably going to be a full game now, judging from Quantic Dream's history. So that is everything that was announced at their press conference for Paris Games Week. So it was a big show. It was an hour and 40 minutes long, and it was really dragging on at the start of it. You could tell like a lot of people on social media and everything, and like the chat boxes were just like, oh, this is like, come on, show us something. That's certainly true. It was a bit of an underwhelming show to begin with. But I think they really kind of refocused it near the end with, of course, a lot of big things, which is we want to see more of VR. We want more reasons to buy PlayStation VR. The really, out of nowhere things like Tekken 7 for VR was like, who's really seeing that coming? Not me. Did we expect Polyphony Digital here? Maybe some people. I wasn't certainly expecting them here, but it's nice to see them announce, a new Gran Turismo. It's nice to see that there is VR support for it. A number of different games that we didn't know about. That these aren't big titles, but there's titles nonetheless, right? I mean, that's the one thing people always have a problem with when they watch these conferences. They just expect way too much. You've heard me talk about this a million times before, but people watch these conferences expecting 17 AAA games, and you're just never going to get that. Last year's E3 was like the one really good show that was like out of nowhere. You were getting all these AAA games announced, and you were getting all these crazy things that you would have never expected in a million years to be in one press conference. So that's another thing, is because we had such a good E3 where you saw all those crazy announcements like the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3, because we had such a good E3, I was expecting this show to be not nearly as big. And that's certainly the case. It wasn't nearly as big. A lot of people are saying, oh, it was a snooze fest, it was really boring, blah, 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 blah. And that's like I said, you got to temper your expectations with these things. And you got to be not so goddamn pessimistic and just enjoy the fact that there's video games being announced. Like, that's what I'm saying. We just saw, like, I don't even know how many games I just read off on that list. Like 15, 20 games? I mean, something like that. I mean, come on, man. So, assuming you temper your expectations properly, there was a lot of good stuff at the press conference. So like I just mentioned, the big bomb drop was definitely Quantic Dream's game. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody at all. Like, the second they showed footage of the car demo, I'm like, no, there's no way. Oh my god, they're actually making this a full game. Which is a great idea, I think, honestly. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from Quantic Dream for the next title. We all know how David Cage likes to do his games. They're certainly focusing on the experience that you're going to be going through, the writing. It's more often than not like a choose your own adventure type thing, which nowadays a lot of people are being more comfortable with the recent release of Until Dawn. A lot of people love Beyond Two Souls. People love Heavy Rain. There's always that very vocal crowd that hates David Cage and hates the fact that he's making games and hates how he does gameplay, which there's not much gameplay in his games, but the people that are always angry and little babies about stuff, they're obviously going to be very vocal about it. But Quantic Dream and things like that, the games they do, they have gotten a lot of attention recently. So the fact that they are revisiting Kara and making it a full-on game, I think is awesome. I cannot wait to see how that's going to work out, because it is. I mean, if you watch that Kara demo, it is profoundly interesting. A lot of people get really emotional watching that demo, which, like, that's why we want to see this into a full project. So the fact that it's now going to be a full game on PlayStation 4 is awesome. And of course, it's Quantic Dream on PS4 now, so you're damn well sure the game is going to look absolutely fantastic, which from the small footage that we did see, the game looked phenomenal. This is, of course, visually speaking. Like I mentioned in the recap, Horizon Zero Dawn looks so good, and I'm so glad that Guerrilla Games decided to do it and take a little step away from Killzone to really create something that is just a new original IP, right? And them trying something completely out of their comfort zone, which was traditionally first-person shooters. So now they're trying something completely different, and the game just looks really, really good. And Media Molecule's Dreams, again, I'm like so intrigued by what that game is actually going to be. And that's the thing, is that even when you watch this demo, you're really not entirely sure what to take away from it. We know that it's very motion focused, so like, for example, the whole demo, he was using the axis on the DualShock 4 to kind of control the character. We know that the art style is very, I don't even know how you put it really, but it's just like, I'm really enjoying the vibe from it, like that little section where you're controlling that weird big mouse character, and just kind of the setting that little level was just kind of gave you a really spooky, creepy feeling. But that's the thing, is that you can't look at that demo and go, oh, that's the whole game, because this is a Media Molecule. They are giving you creation tools, and apparently everything in that demo was simply created from the ground up on PS4 using the creation tools. So it's just another thing where it's like, I just want to see the tools. I want to know what you can do. I want to know where the limits are, so to speak. I mean, that's the question we had with like Little Big Planet, and once we got Little Big Planet on PlayStation 3 a long time ago, we realized how far you can really take that game, and then the sequels that followed after, which really let you go even further. So this kind of game is like a completely hands-off scenario, right? It's like, this is not 2D anymore. This is not side-scrolling. Like, this is full-on create a 3D world, do whatever you want. So that's why I'm really looking forward to that game. And it's also understandable why a lot of people are giving that game shit, because it's, well, the internet and stuff. So but other than that, I think the one thing to take away from Paris Games Week is how strong Sony's third-party relations are, and how good of a grip Sony has in the industry right now. I mean, you look at some of their announcements. They got Call of Duty on there. They got Star Wars on there. They got No Man's Sky on there. They got Tekken 7 on there. I mean, they've got all these, we've got Sony's strong first party, and we've got all these third parties on board with PlayStation. I mean, they're just in a very good position right now, and Sony knows they're in a really good position, so they want to keep moving forward with that. That's pretty much it for the 2015 Sony Paris Games Week press conference video. I know that this past week there's been a lot of great PlayStation news stories coming out. I mean, they broke like right after LTPS was uploaded last week, like the Sony the survey that Sony sent out to people asking what PS4 features they want and PS4 firmware 4.0. That's a big news story. The comments that Sony mentioned about how they might do a more powerful PS4 or something like that, which is also kind of we'll talk about that later. But basically there is good PlayStation news stories to talk about, so we'll get to them in this week's Let's Talk PlayStation this Friday. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.